We're joined by our friend Joe Beninati, Capitals play-by-play voice for the Washington Capitals on Monumental Sports Network. Joe B., good morning. How are you?
Hey, Cakes. I was better about 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
I'm
doing okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe B., I was watching the Caps pregame on Monumental yesterday. There was an awesome crowd out there out in front of the arena when you guys were on stage. Incredible.
Bish, you never have to worry about the fans here in D.C. You never do. And I know they'll be great again tomorrow in trying to help push their team back to get level in this series. But no, when we were out there, the interaction that we have with them during commercial breaks or in the lead up to the show is kind of cool. And yesterday was an all hands on deck kind of show for us. So we had everybody out there and the fans are, begging to shake hands and take pictures and talk hockey and just wonderful. And then when the light comes on, they get loud. And I'm glad you guys could appreciate it. And we sure do appreciate them.
Joe, I'm not a good fan because I watched that game yesterday and I was like, I don't know. This is like, sometimes it's just bad matchups. This, to me, screams bad matchup. And I know you can't say that after one game. I get it. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. But that was like a really bad matchup to me. We might be able to out-hit them in game 2, but I don't know how we're going to be able to correct all the other things. Them having the puck forever. They just fire pucks at people. That's what they do. Their penalty kill, which was number 1 going in, and I was like, okay, that's daunting. I've never seen a more atrocious power play on the last one that we had. To me, it seems overwhelming, and I know I'm a bad fan, but I'm just telling you what I think.
No, you're not a bad fan, and that's the first impression when you look at a game like that. But here's the deal. It's not as if it came unexpectedly. And to me, that means both coaching staff and player pool know what the countermeasures are to relieve some of this pressure. The word surrounding Carolina EB is pressure-packed everywhere, relentless, every line, every D-pair. So you know that's going to happen. Can you use their pressure against them? Football analogy. It's like you're facing a zero blitz all the time.
Right. I got it.
Okay. Those zero blitzes are going to get home and they're going to do their thing, but how do you make them pay for doing that?
Right.
Now that's what we have to find out in the next 24 hours, 36 hours leading up to game time. And they've done it before. They've beaten Carolina before. They've seen it. Here's the crazy thing. A lot of what Carolina does and Washington does systemically, EB, is the same. They just have an extra gear, and it's called speed. It's called youth. Wherever you want to go, they are relentless in their approach, and that comes from Brindamore. And they've got some young tigers who really turn it up. And the one thing I noticed, it's so different for me approaching a game that I'm not calling, when I'm literally watching it from the press box or seeing it from a luxury suite when we're in there talking to clients. All of a sudden, you notice, wow, Carolina's defense, their back six in particular, and this is not to throw shade on Montreal. There's a reason why Carolina finished second in the East to Washington. Their defense is so good, bigger than Montreal's, more mobile even to some degree. Brent Burns at 40 years old can still really play. There are a lot of obstacles, EB, but there are ways to counteract those.
Joe, Logan Thompson was great last night. It's a crime that on ESPN they gave him second star of the game. They gave the first star to Jacob Slavin because he had the overtime game winner. Whatever. Logan Thompson was the reason the Caps were still in that game. My question is, how good was Frederik Andersen? Because we don't really know because the Caps only put 14 shots on net. I feel like you can take advantage of him, but not if you're only firing less than 15 shots on the cage.
Yeah, but Cakes, you're going to have to be really economic in this series. You're not going to have 20, 30 chances per game.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to. Stylistically, they are able to. There's no team in the league, Cakes, Bish, EB, no team in the league that spends more time in the offensive end than Carolina. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they have the puck the whole time, but you constantly feel like the ice is tilted towards Logan. And how do you beat that? There are ways to beat that. They will figure that out. You're talking about Frederik Andersen, and there are a lot of people who think, oh, that's the weak link. Not necessarily. When Frederik is healthy, and that's the key, when he's healthy, he's awfully good. he has just been so beset by injuries for so many years, regardless of the city in which he's played, that he hasn't been around all that much. When he's on, he's a 6'5" threat. How do you beat him? You got to move him. And to me, there has to be more sustained pressure. Yes, I get it. The goal that they scored last night, the Caps scored with Prous off the rush, that is something that seems to creep up from time to time on Freddie, that if you can create 2-on-1s, if you can create 3-on-2s, yeah, Joe, that's with any goaltender. But statistically, you're seeing that maybe Anderson is susceptible there, but more than anything, he's a monster-sized individual who you have to make move. If you let him dig in, he's going to cut down angles. He's going to make saves. They've got to move him around in game 2.
Joe B., you obviously called all of the regular season games against Carolina, and I was just kind of going through the box scores and the team stats in those games, and Carolina outshot. And I guess we're not surprised by this. They outshot the Caps in all of those games, even though the Caps won 2 of them. One of those losses was the 33 total penalties, where the Carolina Hurricanes had 8 power plays. I mean, that was just a disaster, that game, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But how can the Caps, just based on those 4 regular season games and yesterday, I don't see the Caps outshooting the Canes.
They're not going to.
But what can they do to increase the puck possession in Carolina's zone? That's the big thing.
Right. So you'll hear the Caps in the next day and a half talking about having to out Carolina. So when you get the puck, first things first, you have to get out of the defensive zone. One reason why Washington was much better this season, their breakouts. It's moving the puck from defense to offense is a breakout of your zone. Carolina's forecheck is what's pressure-packed and makes the defenders work harder to get the puck out. I'll use another football analogy. The Caps passing game was nowhere near up to par last night. They had difficulties stringing 2 and 3 passes together at a time at any stage in the game. Some of that's Carolina, some of that's Washington. The Caps will be sharper. Defensively, the 6 guys on the back end have to be better at finding passing lanes out of the zone. Again, I'll keep using quarterback football analogies. There are windows to move the puck. And here you go again, another quarterback analogy. Those blitzes are coming at you. So you don't have as much time. The reads have to be faster, cleaner, crisper. These are things that are going to get better as the series goes along. They have to, or else it'll be a quick series. In Carolina, in Raleigh, that proposes a totally different scenario because they're incredible on home ice. That's why Game 2 now becomes a must.
Correct.
But for me, the shots question, Jason, it's always been, for the last, 15 plus years, go back to pre-Cup time for the Capitals, it's quantity over quality. Brind'Amour just insists on everything goes to the net, guys. When we have the chance, everything goes to the net. Whereas I think a lot of skill teams sit there and go, okay, we don't favor the quantity as much as let's get quality chances and convert.
Right.
And that goes back to where I started with Cakes at the top of the discussion. The Caps have to be more efficient. You're not going to get very many chances. When you get them, you got to bury them. Conversely, Carolina's going to throw everything at Logan. There's going to be a lot of easy saves for Logan. There are going to be a lot of difficult saves for him. I thought in the first 30 minutes especially, I loved the way he was controlling pucks. He was, everything was sticking to him. The glove was terrific. Thompson was fantastic. If you don't have Thompson last night, it's a 4 or 5 goal loss. But there are ways to sit there and just analytically parse through this and go, wow, they had 90 shot attempts. That shouldn't surprise anybody. That's what they do. How do you counteract that? The Caps will figure that out.
Joe, the highs and lows of Prous last night, you talked about his first career playoff goal to lead off the scoring, but then he had the terrible turnover where instead of clearing the puck up the ice, he turned it back in towards Logan. Alexiev mishandled it. He couldn't quite keep it on his stick blade, and it goes right to Stankoven, who has a wide open shot. How bad did you feel for Prous in that spot, especially after you feel great for him for scoring that first goal for the Caps?
Yeah, I thought he was moving really well. I watched him all week, and he's moving much better than he did in the Game 5 of the Montreal series. I know he's going to be a factor. I have to pose this question to Spencer or others on the staff or throughout the dressing room. The Caps, again, when you are pressured in the defensive zone, more often than not, guys, the easy way out is along the boards.
Mm-hmm.
They take the boards away, so they feel like they force you to funnel to the middle. That pass from Prous is a tough catch for Alexiev in any stretch. And Alexiev is wearing a full face shield, which makes it sort of uncomfortable to see pucks at your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time he's ever worn that as a professional. I asked him, it's ironic, I asked him yesterday, did you wear that in junior? No, it's a visor. They look like a pro player would look in the junior ranks. So he's still getting and finding some comfort with that face mask. I'm not blaming that on this play, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of stress that's going to come if you keep breaking out the middle. And Prous forced that one to the middle, right in front of Logan. A lot of things can go wrong there, and that one blew up in their face. So
you already said that Game 2 is a must-win. I would agree. If they go down 0-2, going down to Raleigh, I think the series is over. I'm not saying they'll get swept, but I think the series is over. Did last night, did that kind of surprise you, the way that Carolina completely dominated the game statistically, not by the score, but statistically? Did that surprise you?
No, Bish, they have it in them. Right. I understand why there are a lot of people who are giving Carolina the edge. The betting public, I'm sure, was giving Carolina the edge in this.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
I firmly believe this is a 7-game series.
Wow.
And I think that Washington will find a way to win Game 2, will find a way to split in Raleigh, and then you're going to have a best of 3, and you're going to have home ice. I feel like Carolina, personnel-wise, definitely can beat Washington. That last night was a perfectly scripted, executed road game. Good on you. There's 7 of them. Hopefully there's 7 of them. And if the Caps play better, which I firmly expect that they will, and execute better and create some of, maybe it's just the expression is give Carolina some of its own medicine. Washington is the heavier team. The question is, can you make Carolina's 6 on defense go back, feed them to the glass, pressure them, make them feel like the quarterback in the pocket in the zero blitz? That's what we do. That's what the Capitals do when they're at their best. Now, they were out-executed last night, and that's what's on the table for everybody in the meeting rooms today, on the practice ice today. What is the counterbalance? What is the countermeasure to this? We've done it before, guys. We can do it again. We'll figure this out. We have to. Yeah, I don't want. You don't want to lose 2. You don't want to lose serve both times at home. Absolutely not. You have to go into Raleigh. In my mind, you need to go into Raleigh with a split and then go down there with the intentions of splitting with them. Oh, by the way, they won, I believe, 31 times at home in the regular season. Realize it's a totally different time. Tournament time is different, but it's not going to be a walk in the park in Raleigh. But I just think that this is split, and it's going to become a short series, best of 3. I sure cross my fingers and hope. Judging by what you saw last night, a lot of people will sit there and go, no, Carolina in 5. Mm-hmm. I see it. I understand it, but I think you're going to see a much different, much better Washington team tomorrow.
I certainly hope so. Joby, thanks for the time. We miss you on the call. Obviously, you and Locker, but it's good to hear your voice again. We'll talk to you again soon.
My pleasure, guys. Chins up.
Yeah,
all right. Thank you, buddy.
Caps play-by-play voice for Monumental Sports Network. Our Caps content brought to you by Ace Computers. Ace Computers proudly recommends Windows 11 Pro for the U.S. military. Made in America. Check out acecomputers.com right now. Don't forget, coming up at 9 o'clock, we'll be joined by Nats president and general manager Mike Rizzo. That's coming up at 9 here on the Junks.